Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Interesting matchup here today. Little high out of Stork as he's going up against Effort. So Effort here in the top right of Knockout. Oh, and as I say that, I realize that I did not change the map title. There we go. Sorry about that. And yeah, here's Stork down here in that bottom right. Kind of a fun matchup. You know, these guys were both, I would say, top 7 in the world at the end of StarCraft 1. Well, that's funny, the end, right? The end of the peak Kespa era. Like, you know, Stork obviously one of those top 4, and then Effort was like right behind Zhongbi, Effort, and Fantasy were kind of the 3 right behind those top 4. So, very strong players going at it. I do feel like Effort is a little bit better than Stork. I think... yeah, Effort is super strong. And, you know, Stork actually, he was in ASL this season. He had some pretty reasonable games in there. By now, I'm sure you've seen Group A. And he wasn't able to do it, but he had, like, a really cool, fun game against Larva. So, you know, it's not like his Protoss vs. Zerg is bad by any means. I think he is really good Protoss vs. Terran and good at the other matchups, but... yeah, well, let's see. Let's see him versus Effort. And I'm very interested in this map as well. Something that we've seen developing on this map is like, well, first off, Hydra busts aren't as good because of this low ground strip here. It's just going to be a lot weaker to do anything. But something that we're starting to see on this map is a lurker containment that has lurkers here and lurkers here. You can't get over the bridges, and this is a thin high ground. So, like... my instinct tells me that what you're going to need to do as Protoss is just to make sure you control this quickly. Which is funny, because that sounds weird to me. Like, oh, you need to control this mineral-only base. But it's less about the fact that there's a mineral-only here, and more about, like, if you control this base, Zerg can't attack over this. Because they'll be hitting a wall, and you just come down from high ground, you crush. So, like, as long as you control this high ground here, I think the map is still going to be... pretty good for Protoss, but we'll see. We'll see. So it looks like it was an overpool most likely here. Third hatch, or third base, where the first hatchery will go because of the probe harassing a little bit and chasing everything down. Getting ready to make a hatchery at his natural. Stork continuing to scout around. And since it's a photon cannon opening, no real engagement's going to occur for a little bit here. Effort's just going to double check that. And back off. So, I do want to thank you guys, as always, for checking out ArtosisCasts. Thank you for making this a part of your day. I'm really happy and flattered that people enjoy to watch this, either with your morning coffee or with lunch or whenever it is that you like to watch it. Let me know in the comments. I love reading that stuff and seeing how people have fit a nice little chunk of StarCraft into their day. You know, we have games as short as probably, well, there's not many 4-pool games on here, but there are a few. Over the thousands and thousands of games on here, there's at least 2 or 3 4-pools. So there's probably just a handful of videos that are 3 or 4 minutes long, and then, of course, some go hours. So, yeah, big range to try to fit into your day. But I think probably the average, what's the average game length in StarCraft 1? I want to say it's like 16 minutes or something like that. It's somewhere in that range. So let's just call it, that's probably what the average game length is on the channel, is my best bet. All right. Probe gets picked off actually a little bit quick. That was definitely a bit of a mistake there from Stork, but gets it surrounded. Looking into his base, he has Stargate coming up. Hydralisk Den going to go down. Not a big surprise. If you kill a probe that quickly... I think Zerg has a hard time stopping themselves from throwing down a Hydralisk Den. If you just don't have any way to really scout that, it's a good build. But we're going to be able to see 3-hatch Hydra against this strip of low ground. Because this is why we think that this map was partially made to stop Sulky from winning more more ASLs. It seems like the map pool is pretty Protoss favored. You guys remember something called the Legend of the Fall? Well, the legend of the fall back in the Kespa era of StarCraft was during the fall months, you would have a Star League winner that was Protoss, or possibly 2 that were Protoss. And there's actually a direct reason for this. They tried to make that happen. They made Protoss favored maps at that time of the year. So I wonder if they're trying to make that happen at ASL. Like, obviously we only have 2 Star Leagues, so you don't want half of them to be Protoss favored or something like that. Obviously you need to have some map rotation, but like there's been talk about the maps this season being anti-Zerg. I would say they're more pro-Protoss than anti-Zerg so far, but not entirely sure. We're still learning a lot about these maps, including this one. This one, it seemed pretty straightforward why this was there, but with some of the lurker containment strategies we've seen, those have been really strong. So yeah, not entirely sure yet. Okay, Hydra's making their way down. I think we'll probably see +1 air weapons canceled out for Stork and some more cannons go up, but he probably doesn't need as many as we're used to seeing. Effort does have that 4th hatch, and he's going into lair, so this is not a real dedicated push. But notice that Stork is not overmaking cannons. 3 seems right. Yeah, he's missing some shots in there. It can be a little bit hard to see because they shoot quickly, but you can line it up with the sound and see that it's definitely not every shot is hitting, but you know, he's going to be able to plow through part of that wall. 2 Corsairs still flying around, no kills on them yet, so that's a little bit unfortunate. The +1 air weapons was canceled out. A lot of gateways on the way. Stork just not even flinching. He doesn't seem to really care that this is occurring. The Spire coming up. Macro hatchery as well as evolution chamber, so it's going to be on 5 hatch. You want to make sure that this +1 finishes. I don't think you'll have any problem with that. Oh. Yeah, it looks like it's hard to do. And Stork, like, I think that this was probably a pretty accurate representation of what Hydra Bus will look like on this map. I think someone's going to pull the trigger and do it anyways because it's so unexpected. But, like, Effort kind of faked it, and he could not bait that many cannons. But the thing is, he barely made Hydras as well. I think because he looks in and says, yeah, this is not too likely to work. So, +1 finishes up. The Zealots immediately come out and get an engage. Going to be able to just shred through those Zerglings super, super fast. But there's enough Hydras that this is not going to work out for Stork. Kind of surprised he stayed and fought that. Little bit. Little bit. Oh. +1 air weapons. Huh. Didn't expect that. But it's actually lurkers coming up. Like, he has some Scourge that are being made. Like, the Spire was seen. That might be a bit of a mind game. I think Stork, when he saw the Spire, said, oh, okay, you're still going to go into Mutas, so we'll get the +1 air attack still, and we'll make more Corsairs. But this does look like it's going to be a lurker containment. I think that Effort is looking at this map like a lot of people are right now, where forget about Mutas, man. Get some lurkers here, get some lurkers here, and make it really, really difficult for your opponent. 4th base coming up. Notice how he's getting the Geyser immediately. So that is him focusing on getting enough gas for a lot of lurkers. The Zealots come out once again for an engage. Stork is taking some funny looking engages here. Generally, you want to run out with enough that they run away. And he just hasn't really been doing that as of yet. Kind of a funny looking gateway placement, by the way. The Feng Shui is powerful here. It's good looking. But Dragoons that pop here have to go way around. Ah, Dark Templar comes out. He had killed that Overlord before, so that's kind of nice, I guess. Ooh, gets a pick on a High Templar. That is not something you want to see. Overlord's speed on the way already here for Effort to help deal with those Dark Templar. Plenty of Hydras out. We don't see the Lurkers morphed yet, but I think that'll come soon. Ah, there's some. Interesting seeing the Scourge patrol here. Doesn't want any drops coming in. DT walking around towards this 4th base location. Gonna clear those Scourge rather easily. And the Lurkers come up and burrow on those bridges. So the Zealots run by. Interesting. He's going a lot closer than I thought he would. I guess that's okay, right? Because in a way, that's high ground, kind of. But Dragoons can range across there, so I'm not sure how useful that will be, that position. All right, the Zealots being pushed back right now. Heavy amount of Hydras pushing them. Lots and lots of Hydras being macroed out at the moment. I think what Effort is attempting to do here is make enough Hydras to push everything back. This is just to kind of slow Stork and keep his units in his main base area. But I think the Hydras want to push back these Zealots or at least reduce their count some, and then he'll run up more Lurkers and make the containment. But right now, he's got to deal with the actual Zealots at the map. Because if he goes up and tries to do the contain now, these Zealots get a lot of potential where, like, the defense up here is very slim. Like, you could easily run that over if not for these. All right, Effort pushing those Zealots back for now. We're getting closer and closer when he might be able to pull the trigger on a containment. Observatory. That +1. Did he actually get the +1 arrow weapons? I don't even. Let's check. Yeah, he did. He did end up getting them. They're not going to be very useful, but that's okay. Has Dragoon range. Kadarin Amulet. Always happy to see that pretty early. After killing this front piece of the wall, he'll back them up into the more standard containment area. The Hydra's still roaming looking for these Zealots. These Zealots have done a lot of work, because otherwise he would be like mega contained right now. But I think this is the moment where Stork simply has to get up here. Not out here, because I think he'll be overwhelmed there. But if he can just get up here and hold this position, it's going to be really nice. All right, the Zealot's running back. Observer, yeah, he does have an Observer on top of that Dragoon there. Going up to 9 gates. 9 gates, really the maximum that we ever see on 2 base. Okay, he goes up to this high ground. This is a very important moment. More Lurkers are coming in. Oh, I don't like this. I don't think that's any good. I don't think he should be in there at all. Yeah, runs out. Okay, maybe a misclick. But yeah, okay, so this containment, this is really annoying. You can't really get over the bridges. I guess you could try to contain the bottom of the ramp. He's actually going to come up the ramp? I don't think so. 1 storm here. There it is. Easy. Just hold this position. 3rd Nexus coming up. Effort's macro is pretty scary, though, don't forget. He got this 4th base up. His drone count is insanely good. His macro looking very solid. But as long as Stork holds up here, I think it's hard for Effort to actually kill him. You have enough Psy Storms that Effort trying to come up these ramps, missing all those shots, eating all that Psy Storm is going to be brutal. Where's the Lurkers? Does he really only have 2 right now? What is this? This I don't think is any good. You just back this up a little bit, and then you come down and kill it. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a no man's land. It's like, this is the area. This is the area of value on this map in the mid-game. As long as you're holding this area, like, you have control of this. The flow down to this as a 4th base doesn't seem too bad. There's a lot of counterattack potential for Zerg, though, going multiple routes. Okay, trying to attack over both sides. So Effort is attacking all over the place. Tons of Hydras here. The ones on this side getting absolutely mangled by Storm. Actually whiffs a Storm there. Now needs to bring these units down to help out against these Hydras. These Dragoons there are not going to be able to stand up against it. Some good Psy Storms, though, will do it. Oh, my God. Really good Psy Storms there. The Hydra's trying to attack up the other way now. Definitely breakable. Great Psy Storms again from Stork. Ooh! Ooh! Really good Psy Storm. And as you can see, really good defensive play there from Stork. Effort supply plummeting. But his macro is still really, really strong. I would definitely not count him out in this game as of yet. Stork doesn't have a lot of extra gas since this is a mineral base. I've personally always liked the play of someone like Snow on a map that looks like this, where you use this base and you don't attack on 3 base. Instead, you take a 4th. I would like to see that from him. Decent storm right there. Clears that 1 lurker pretty quickly. Oh, gosh. These units definitely out of position there, and he's going to lose a High Templar there without much use. Gets a decent storm, pushes it back. Should not be fighting over the bridges. Just back up, hold this line. Oh no, a lurker runs up and actually burrows at this 3rd base, getting quite a few probe kills right now. 4 go down. Both of them getting really low in supply. You know, as we start to lose High Templar, even though we have good upgrades here, I think it does become... Well, actually, Efra has good upgrades, too. I think it does become more Zerg favored. The Hydras want to battle against Dragoons. It's really just the High Templars that become an issue. By the way, targeting this pylon would be very good. Stork pylon over there. Okay, holds everything off on that high ground once again. Wouldn't mind a few probes being transferred from the natural to the 3rd. Just like 3 or 4, I think. Would be ideal. More High Templars coming out. He does have Kadarin Amulet. He got that a while ago, so that's really good. It's going to allow him to get those storms out a little bit quicker. He needs them here. He needs to pull this back slightly and get the storms. Right there, right there. Come on. Okay, that's a good one. That's a really good storm right there. Okay, another really good storm. Definitely excellent storms there from Stork. Pushes everything back once again. Supplies still very low. One of the problems here is there's no counter damage. If Stork even had like 3 zealots out here, I think it would make a huge difference. Okay, pulls back with that new Archon. New Archon. It is nude as well, though. Another great storm onto those Hydras. Just the heavy, heavy zealot doing a good job. Really, you need lurkers to deal with this. But he might just get enough Hydras in here to have that critical mass at some point. Okay, Stork really pushing the Hydras back now. I think he should come back and like reinforce, basically. I don't think pushing right this second is correct. Let's see how many storms there. Only 1 storm. So like even the best storm you can possibly get here. That's like a pretty good storm, but like... let's see. If you get on top of the rally point, magic can happen, but he's fighting uphill right now with Dragoons. Yeah, I really think he should have just waited a moment. Just reinforce 1 more time and then go, and maybe go around this way instead of trying to fight uphill. Oh. Stork bringing out some more zealots. It's kind of funny. Really run out of a lot of his mining, unfortunately. Single lurker egg up here. I don't think he can get this base set up. That doesn't look realistic to me at all. A little bit of long distance mining. I guess so. GG is called. Okay, I think Stork overall had really the right idea. I think he bled down into this area a couple too many times, and the attack up didn't make sense. If he had just maintained this position over and over, just making sure that he didn't have random units sitting here. Sit them back at your cannons. Sit units here. Crush anything that comes down. Hold the high grounds. And then eventually take this base and then think about attacking. I think if he'd play just a slight changes to what he did, and I think he's in a good spot. Interesting game, though. Let me know what you think. Is my read correct on the high ground here? Is this going to become Zerg favored? Is it going to become Protoss favored? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.